this case, we're really focused on the point last seen because that you're starting to get into a thing where you're not really searching like that area. You're not really searching like that area. You're now traveling roads and looking for, like, say, the car. We would expect that we'd be able to find the car. They just say, hey, where do you search? You know, we are looking at, say, Stampede Lake, Boca Lake, but then where do you stop? Do you look at the bottom of Tahoe? Do you look at wherever? And those aren't things that we can do. I mean, we are just people, just like everybody in this room. And divers were the last case scenario. Divers were the last case scenario. Yeah, I would say that we actually had divers, not necessarily in Prosser,
Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the dive teams. Now, there has been a lot of talk about this picture in particular. This is the Alameda dive team, and as you can see, there's something circled in yellow, and this is about the area where Kiely's vehicle was found. Now, YouTuber Tyler Feller actually reached out to the Alameda Sheriff's Department to get some clarification on this. He actually does play a clip of that phone call, but I'm just going to summarize it. So he called the Alameda Sheriff's Department. They gave him the number to their public information officer. That person called him. He asked about the picture, and then they said they would call him back. They told him that Alameda allowed a group of volunteer divers to use their boat and go help in the search for Kiely. Now, I did look into the Alameda dive team, and the Alameda dive team is specifically made up of volunteer divers, so I'm not sure if it was Alameda's volunteer dive team or a separate volunteer group. He told Tyler that when they arrived, there was a chain of command that they were getting instruction from, and that they had explicit instructions to look for Kiely's phone and Kiely's phone only. They were told to only go 25 feet out. So that yellow marker is actually where the 25-foot mark is. They had an anchor out there to mark that distance. Specific group of volunteer divers were only looking for Kiely's phone, and they only went 25 feet out. They never passed the 25-foot mark, and they searched all day and were not able to find anything. Back through everything to try to find where the first mention of them actually searching the water was. This is an August 10th Facebook post from Placer County Sheriff's Office, and it says down here at the bottom that Marine Services from Placer County Sheriff's Office, Nevada County Sheriff's Office, and Washoe County conducted water searches, but it doesn't say dive teams specifically. And then on 8/13, on one of the flyers they posted to their Facebook account, it says one Marine/dive team. From the 8/13 press conference was the first mention of divers.
Divers out there today and swimmers today?
Divers, yes, today. I don't know if they have swimmers out today. Swimmers was a precaution so that we could ensure, to clarify, because there's so many levels to this. We had boats, we had side sonars, which allow you to see things, certain types of fish finders, which can go lower down into the water. But at that point, we still hadn't touched the ground or anything like that. So swimmers on the surface allowed to use masks and see things without murking up the water. So divers were the last case scenario. Divers were the last case scenario in the attempt, because for the most part, you could go in over and over and over again, but potentially you get one shot at it. And so trying to use a phased approach that makes the most sense and gets us to where we want.
So this next clip is where they're going to specifically mention the Alameda team.
Yeah, the ping for the data points and everything were near the water. It's hard to tell an exact pinpoint or anything like that, but just as much on land as it was in the water.
That's what I was told, is that it was near the water and searches took place near that vicinity. Are those going to continue?
Yeah, today we have 226 searchers, a pretty astronomical number. I think the overhead team at the search and rescue, they deployed out all 226 members within about an hour, and so that's a pretty big feat on its own. They've extensively been planning and prepping overnight so that when people get here, we're ready to roll. The area has been walked, driven, flown, grid searched. They're getting into tighter grid searching. So, at this point, we're looking for small and anything evidence-wise, as opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. As opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. We're trying to make it even tighter. We had swimmers we announced the other day that actually did surface swimming, so we don't want to disturb the water even underneath, because that can cause its own problems. And divers have been deployed at this point as well to assist in the search, and it's been pretty thorough overall.
Could you tell us what body of water and what time that last ping was?
The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now. The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now.
There was, this morning I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda, but just a few feet to the side there were people recreating and people going by in a canoe. Are you not afraid about them disturbing any possible evidence that could be there?
Yeah, you balance this, shut everybody out, and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're going to locate. Are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So there's always a concern, but we also don't have like a, hey, this is the area. And so at what point do you cut off the entire Forest Service and things like that?
So in those two clips, he mentions that they're focusing on Prosser Lake, and the Alameda dive team is out there searching, but they were only allowed to go 25 feet. This is so unfortunate because they were right there, and had they been allowed to go out further, they potentially could have found her vehicle. Now, as we know, this is not the only dive team. On 8/13, Washoe County went out to help as well. We have Washoe County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, Hasty Dive Team, and Incident Management Team were requested to assist California Emergency Services in the effort to search for Kiely Rodni. They were out there on 8/13, and on their Twitter we had, today's efforts were focused at Prosser Reservoir just north of Truckee. Unfortunately, no signs of the missing girl or her vehicle were found. In a CBS article we had, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office is using an unmanned underwater vehicle equipped with lights, cameras, and onboard sonar, and a robot arm to search the water. So no mention of where they specifically searched on Prosser Lake, but we have other dive teams as well. So this is another pretty popular picture of a team that was searching, and this was actually over by the boat ramp, not specifically where Kiely was found. I was trying to figure out exactly when this picture was taken and who this was, and this was the article that I found it in from the Daily Mail. It looks like it was originally written on August 9th, but it was later updated on the 21st. Now, underneath the picture, they have sheriff deputies set up forensics tents on a ramp into Prosser Creek Reservoir and launched mini submarine with camera in a bid to find Kiely's car. I want to say this is Placer County Sheriff's Department, but I'm not 100% sure. But from what we can see in the photos, it looks like they were searching, like I said, over on the boat ramp and not specifically where her car was found. So just as a visual, yellow arrow is where the boat ramp is, red arrow is where her vehicle was found. This is a zoomed out version, so the boat ramp is up at the top.
We began our search for Kiely at Prosser Creek Reservoir on August 21st at 10:40 a.m. We placed 2 sonar boats in the water. By 11:15 a.m., Nick detected an object underwater using cutting-edge Garmin sonar technology. I was able to then confirm that it was in fact a vehicle in roughly 14 feet of water and only 55 feet offshore.
Before Adventures with Purpose went out there this weekend, when was the last time that we had swimmers or divers from any of these 16 agencies out there searching that area?
Yeah, I would say that we actually had divers, not necessarily in Prosser, but in lots of bodies of water up until even the days that they were there. There were many ponds they were following up on Coldstream, as well as other bodies of water. So I don't know that dive teams ever discontinued. It was more of trying to still follow up on all of those things. And I believe Adventures with Purpose also had been diving at other lakes as well within the area.
Can you just clarify as far as what teams have been in that area before Adventures with Purpose, if any, on that specific, on Prosser?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost so many that it would be hard to link out between the different teams. There were numerous boats, Yuba County, Alameda, Nevada County, Placer County, swimmers came from Washoe County, We had divers from every single one of those agencies and then some. I mean, it was a vast amount of people. And I would just say, unless you've conducted these types of searches and tried to do it, it does take a level of expertise, and nothing's perfect. You know, when you fly a helicopter over the air trying to identify if something is there, most places give that less than a 5% probability of detection, meaning if you flew over, you only have a 5% chance of seeing something. You had trees and brush and bushes and dirt and all these other things, and it becomes a pretty difficult task. Even though once you find the answer, on hindsight, everything looks 20/20, the reality is it's not that simple. It is pretty complex and it's tough. So again, we're just appreciative that the resources came out and were able to help us in locating.
So I know a lot of people have been speculating that maybe her vehicle was dumped into the water after, but in order to really know that, we need to know where specifically these dive teams searched and when. And so far, the only specific location that we have is from the Alameda dive team. So it just makes me wonder, were any of the other dive teams restricted to the area that they were allowed to search? Did Placer or Nevada County thoroughly search that Prosser Reservoir?